It is the Tri-State's classic rock station, the one and only, but you probably figured that's we're going to say that, right? It's 100.9 The Eagle. I am Doc, privileged to welcome to the show Erik Turner of Warrant. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. We are looking forward to playing this Friday night with our good buddies Firehouse, and as you can imagine, 16 months off without playing a show. We are fired up.
Yeah, I'm curious, and we'll talk about other Warrant stuff and this upcoming show, but I'm curious now that, and obviously the pandemic is not over, but you guys are finally able to kind of get back on the road. What's it been like doing the shows like post I guess you call it the post of the peak of COVID?
Post-pandemic. It's good, man. It feels so great to play. We haven't played in 16 months, and as everybody knows, there's a whole flood of tours going out there and live music, and it's just so great to see people out there having a good time, and we're having a good time, and to be able to get to do what we love for a living after having it taken away or put on hold for 16 months just feels great. As you can imagine, we're grateful, and we love playing our music more than ever.
Yeah, I remember reading about you guys in Metal Edge back in I think it was 87, when they were featuring you guys, talking about you had your debut album about to come out. I don't think there's a lot of people that realize you guys were really big without a record contract for a long time. I think you started back in 83, right, before the record came out in 87 or 88?
Yeah, we built up quite a following in the Southern California area. We started in 1984, the band. And we just built up a following in the clubs, like the Troubadour, we'd sell it out. Gazzari's sell out. We'd sell out the Roxy 3 nights in a row and sell out the Country Club, which is like a 1,000-seat venue. And then we'd start selling out 2 nights in a row. We really had a great following before we had a song on the radio, before we had a record deal. We finally got signed in 1988. Felt like an eternity at the time. And then our first album came out in 1989. So we just caught the tail end of the 80s hair metal, glam rock, whatever I call it, party rock, good time music era of the 80s.
Yeah, we were fortunate to have you guys on, I think, one of your biggest tours, the Blood, Sweat, and Beers tours, June 11th of 1991, when you guys played the infamous Hannibal Riverfront Amphitheater with Firehouse and Trickster. And that's the kind of neat thing about this upcoming Friday show in Hannibal, is Firehouse returns with you guys, not exactly to the day, but almost 30 years to the day when you guys first landed in town. What do you guys remember from that era?
It was great. For me, my personal memory of it, that was our one big headlining tour that we did. It's a cherry pie tour, but we actually named it Blood, Sweat, and Beers, which was very appropriate. But it was like Christmas every day. We had pyro and explosions and lots of trucks and equipment and buses and tens of thousands of people coming out to see us. It was like a dream come true. The 13-year-old Erik, 15-year-old Erik, his dream coming true. I used to go see all the bands play, go to all the shows, growing up. And so now here we have our big show and our big stage and lights and all that good stuff, all the bells and whistles. It was awesome.
We had the chance to visit with Bill Leverty of Firehouse. He paid you guys a huge compliment. He said that back in that time, they were still an opening band, and they had heard all these horror stories about how headliners could treat some of the openers. And he said when they hooked up with you guys, you could not have been nicer. And you were like going out of your way to ask them if they needed anything, equipment or whatever, because you guys, the guys in Warrant, Bill said, were always so focused on everybody enjoying the show.
Yeah, we opened up, we're headlining, it's our tour, and, we got to decide who opens and all that good stuff. But, if we're going to invite somebody into your house, you want to make them feel at home, especially if they're super cool, like the Trickster and Firehouse guys. And, they've turned out to be lifelong friends. And basically we just treated the other bands, and still do, we try to treat them the way we'd like to be treated as an opening act. So
yeah, that's awesome.
That's all there was to it, man. We just wanted to have a good time with, band and crew, everybody. I mean, it wasn't just the band members. I mean, all the crew guys, truck drivers, bus drivers, catering, I mean, you name it. Merch people. You knew everybody by name and hung out, and it was good. There was no separation between the bands and crew and stuff. We all, just got along. We were out there for, I don't know how long that tour lasted, 6 months or 8 months, but it was a good run.
Yeah. Erik Turner of Warrant's joining us here on the radio show. I think by now everybody knows the stories, the great and sometimes challenging times you guys had with Janie back in the day. I think that it's got to be quite a challenge. You guys have Robert Mason, who had his own musical legacy with Lynch Mob. What with the chemistry with Robert makes that work as opposed to some of the challenging times in the past?
We had mostly great times with Janie. You know, we started out together, a couple starving musicians in Hollywood, you know, living in an apartment together and starving together and having a great time together and putting a band together. And so, you know, having that whole experience and then having it turn into this multi-platinum deal and selling millions of records and traveling all over the world, you know, it's mostly good times. And the bad times are well documented, but I prefer to remember all the good times. And as far as Robert goes, we met Robert when he was in Lynch Mob. Lynch Mob was the opening act for our Dog Eat Dog tour in 1992 or 3 or something like that. And Janie and Robert became fast friends, and we all became friends. And fast forward to 2008, we needed a singer, and Robert was around and available, and he came down and sang, and he's been in the band ever since. He sings the songs great. He's the same age as us. He grew up on the same music as us. He's friends with Janie and a great singer in his own right. So, you know, in an ideal world, of course, we wish, you know, that we had Janie alive and healthy first and foremost, and also, of course, in Warrant, but that's just not meant to be. So we're making the best of the situation we got, and we've made, you know, new records. Rockaholic we put out in 2011, Louder, Harder, Faster. In 2017, you know, we're not just living off the legacy 100%. You know, we're still creating some new music for the fans that want to hear it. And when you come out to see us this weekend, it's the 30-year anniversary of Cherry Pie, so we're playing the entire album. And then after we play the album, we'll play some hits like Down Boys and Heaven, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. We'll start getting into some of the other albums as well. So it's going to be a good show, a great night of rock and roll, and come out and celebrate music with us again.
Yeah, the one thing people mentioned from the '91 show was the energy you guys brought to the show. How did the performances from back then compare to what you guys are doing this year?
We're a lot more sober than we were. I'll tell you that right now. It was very common to knock down a bottle, a fifth of tequila before we even hit the stage back in '91. You know, we could do that back then, but no, it's great. I think we're better musicians now than we were back then. We're a little older, but we take care of ourselves, and you know, it's a high energy rock and roll show. You know, the music is high energy. The music lends itself to a good time atmosphere.
I can tell you, the crowds here are going to be bringing their own energy, man. They have been cooped up for a year and a half, so they're going to be bringing it Friday night for you guys.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to it, man. And anybody wants to catch up with what the band's been doing, you can go to warrantrocks.com or go to Warrant Rocks Twitter, Warrant Rocks Facebook, Warrant Rocks Instagram, you know, and follow us, like us, and come out and see us play. We'd love to see your smiley, happy face out there in the crowd this weekend.
Yeah, we'll make sure we hook up everybody up with the links. Before I let you get back to your life, Erik Turner of Warrant with us. I got to ask you a crazy question. I saw this making the rounds online, so I got to know if it's true or not. So, is it true that you actually auditioned for Megadeth at one point in time?
It wasn't a full-blown audition. Dave Mustaine had just departed or got kicked out of Metallica. I don't know what it was, but he put an ad in the recycler, and I answered the ad, and I went to his place in Huntington Beach and met him, and he told me about the project he's putting together, and that was as far as it went. I never actually got an audition or you know, went and jammed with him. But years later, we lived in the same apartment building in Los Angeles after Megadeth was successful and Warrant was on the rise, so we talked about that, and he's a cool dude.
Yeah, awesome. So what's the rest of this year look like for you and the rest of the Warrant guys? You guys, I know it's been 4 years now since Louder, Harder, Faster came out. Any thoughts with new music maybe, or are you guys just going to focus on the shows?
Right now, we're just focusing on playing live and doing the best job we can with that. You know, there's always a riff floating around here and there, but nothing. No one's been inspired to really write any songs. We're just grateful to be back out playing live. Maybe in 2022 we'll write some songs and it'll come out in 23. would be my best guess. Hopefully, best case scenario.
Erik Turner of Warrant, we appreciate your time so much, buddy. We wish you and the band the best, and cannot wait to see you guys tear up the stage come Friday night in Hannibal, man.
Thank you. We can't wait to get out there and rock and roll. It's going to be a good time. Put your party shoes on, people.